Lieutenant Ryan Mills stood on the metal catwalk above Atlas She's arid surface. The twin suns beat down on the dusty plains below. He peered through the clear panels at the jagged rocks that stretched to the horizon. This world was on the edge of human space. It was quiet and empty. That was why Ryan had volunteered to patrol this sector. He liked the calm. His scanner chimed softly. He frowned and tapped the wrist console. A faint life signature showed up beyond the canyon rim. That sector was off limits. The colonial treaty forbade human presence near the old ruins. Ryan's orders were clear: do not investigate unauthorized signals. Still, curiosity tugged at him. He reached for the handheld scanner and keyed a new set of coordinates. The signal was weak, but real. Ryan slipped over the catwalk railing and climbed down the support ladder. His boots kicked up red dust as he crossed the landing pad. He checked his sidearm and strapped on his pulse rifle. The settlement feed was miles away. No one would know his exact position until he reported back. The canyon rim was steep and rocky. Ryan picked his way along a narrow path. Each step echoed in the silent air. He thought of the briefing slides, ruins of a lost civilization, ancient technology hidden beneath broken temples. No one had ventured close enough to confirm. He walked another 100 meters. Then the life sign jumped. It pulsed faster, like a heartbeat. He slowed and crouched behind a rock. Ryan activated his thermal scope. A figure stood at the canyon floor below him. Her skin glowed pale blue under the suns. She wore no armor, only flowing cloth that shifted in the light. Long hair shimmered with violet streaks. Ryan's breath caught in his throat. The figure turned her head and looked up. His eyes met hers. A sudden calm washed over him. He lowered his weapon and froze. Her eyes were large and bright like liquid silver. The air felt charged. Ryan's chest tightened. He saw a smile form on her lips. She seemed to lean forward as if drawn to him. The ranger training drilled into him: maintain distance, call for backup. But Ryan's voice was silent. He rose and stepped onto the ledge. The girl watched him. Her skin shifted color at his approach. Warm pink hues ran along her arms, then faded into pale blue again. Ryan's pulse quickened. She made no move to hide. Instead, she raised a hand, fingers spread wide. The gesture felt welcoming. Ryan followed a sudden urge and extended his own hand. He climbed down the last ledge and landed softly on the rocky floor. The ground shook under the weight of his boots. She did not flinch. Ryan stopped 3 meters away. He kept his rifle lowered. The girl studied him. He sensed her looking into his mind, but not in a threatening way. He felt exposed, as if she could read his memories. He tried to steady his breathing. "I am Lyra," she said. Her voice was a soft whisper that seemed to echo in the canyon. Ryan shook his head. He had no universal translator set for unknown languages. She spoke English, but her tone sounded strangely musical. He cleared his throat. "I am Lieutenant Ryan Mills, Frontier Patrol." "You are on off-limits territory?" Lyra's smile grew. She took a step closer. Ryan felt a surge of warmth in his chest. He frowned and looked away. His scanner beeped. Lyra glanced at it and tilted her head. He touched the device. It read 0 threat. The sensors could not detect her energy signature properly. She reached out and placed a hand on Ryan's chest. He tensed. Her skin was cool against his uniform. A spark pulsed through him. His heart thundered in his ears. Lyra closed her eyes and seemed to savor the moment. She pressed a fingertip against his pulse. Node. Ryan's knees weakened. He willed himself to step back, but his feet felt heavy. Lyra's gaze held him. She opened her lips and touched his fingertip with her tongue. A shiver ran through Ryan. He gasped and stumbled back, but she caught his arm gently. The contact broke the spell. He drew in a ragged breath. "What was that?" Ryan managed. Lyra smiled again and whispered, "I taste desire." "I feel what you want." Ryan shook his head. He holstered his rifle. "You know my thoughts?" She nodded. Her eyes glowed brighter. He took 2 steps back and reached for his mic. Before he could speak, Lyra's voice filled his mind. "No harm." "I only seek connection." Ryan hesitated. Protocol dictated detainment, but his rational mind struggled against his instincts. He felt drawn to this being. Curiosity soared above. Fear. He lowered his arm and nodded slowly. "Stay close," he said into the mic. "I've found an unknown life form, requesting backup." Lyra watched him activate his comm. Ryan turned his back and tapped the emergency channel. "Base, this is Mills. I have visual on a sentient being at grid 97. Requesting immediate extraction. No hostiles detected. Over." His message sent, Ryan took Lyra's hand. She smiled and leaned close. The suns dipped lower, casting long shadows across the canyon. As he guided her up the rocky slope, he wondered what secrets she carried. He felt desire ripple through him again, and wondered if she could taste his hope. When they reached the catwalk, Ryan lingered at the top. He glanced back at the girl. Her eyes shone with anticipation. He straightened his uniform and stepped. Forward, whatever came next, he knew his life would change forever. After landing on the Horizon Station, Lieutenant Ryan Mills watched the hull doors seal behind him. The research station sat at the edge of a gas giant's orbit. Inside, cool lights and soft hum welcomed them. Dr. Maya Ellis met Ryan in the docking bay. She was a biologist who studied alien life. She wore a white coat and carried a datapad. When she saw Lyra, her eyes widened with awe. Lyra stood on the platform beside Ryan. Her skin glowed pale cyan under the fluorescent lights. She looked around with curiosity, her hair's violet streaks shining. Ryan gave Lyra a gentle nod, and she followed him into the corridor. Maya led them to a lab lined with scanners and glass tanks. She glanced at Commander Red, who stood by a security console. Reed's uniform was crisp and strict, his expression unreadable. In the lab, Maya asked Lyra to sit on an observation chair. She attached soft sensors to Lyra's wrists and neck. Lyra watched Maya with interest, her large eyes reflecting hope. Ryan stayed at Lyra's side. Maya tapped her pad and spoke quietly to the sensors. The readings flickered. Maya frowned and looked at Ryan. "Her biosignature is unlike anything we know," she said. "She senses chemical emotions in others." Maya opened a sealed container with human blood plasma. She put a small drop into a clear dish. Lyra's gaze fixed on the red liquid. When Maya offered a pipette, Lyra hesitated, then reached out. She touched the drop with her tongue. Her eyes closed in pleasure. A soft chuckle escaped her lips. Ryan blinked. Maya leaned forward, astonished. "She reacts positively to the taste," Maya whispered. "This suggests she perceives desire chemically. We must learn if it helps or harms." Lyra opened her eyes and smiled at Ryan. Her cheeks glowed soft pink. She touched the dish again. Ryan felt heat rise to his face. He cleared his throat and said, "Commander said to contain her until further orders." Reed stepped forward and folded his arms. "This life form is a stranger. Orders are clear. We hold her in a secure cell." Ryan shook his head. "She shows no aggression. She helped me escape the drone hunt. We should study her in open conditions." Reed's jaw tightened. Protocol is protocol. "She goes into containment." Lyra stood and faced Reed. She placed a hand on Ryan's arm. Ryan felt her grip. She closed her eyes and leaned close. A wave of calm washed over Ryan. He took a steady breath and looked at Reed. "She does not wish to harm anyone," Ryan said. "She seeks connection. You can see it in her eyes." Lyra reached up to Ryan's face and traced his cheek. Ryan felt her touch as gentle warmth. He glanced at Maya. She nodded. Maya spoke to Reed. "This being may offer insights on interspecies bonding. We should not isolate her. Give us 24 hours of observation." Reed met their eyes. After a tense moment, he nodded curtly. 24 hours. Then she goes to containment. Relief washed over Ryan. He touched Lyra's hand. Lyra smiled and pressed her palm against his. She sensed his protectiveness. Ryan felt strength in their bond. Maya began to record every detail. Lyra watched the screens glow with her vital signs. That night, Ryan stayed outside the observation window. He saw Lyra resting on a padded bench. Her breathing was calm. She opened her eyes and saw him watching. She walked over and pressed her palm against the glass. Ryan placed his hand in the same spot inside. They shared a silent moment. Ryan felt her yearning for understanding. Lyra closed her eyes and sent a feeling to Ryan's mind: trust. He shivered. He knew each moment with her would change everything. He believed. As the station lights dimmed for the quiet cycle, Ryan whispered to himself, "I will protect you." Beyond the window, the gas giant spun in silent glory. Inside, Lyra tasted more than blood. She tasted belonging. And her desire to learn would bind her fate to Ryan's heart. Word of Lyra's unique talent spread fast. Across human space, corporate leaders saw gold in emotions. They planned to harvest her ability to sense and taste desire. Mercenary teams prepared to capture Lyra and sell her to the highest bidder. Back on Horizon Station, Lieutenant Ryan Mills woke before dawn. Alarms blared softly through the corridors. Flashing red lights painted the walls. He raced to the central command bay. Dr. Maya Ellis and Commander Reed stood by the holomap, tense lines. On their faces, "They are coming," Maya said. Her voice shook. "A private fleet of armed ships is en route." "We have less than 1 hour," Reed tapped controls. "We can't fight a fleet." "We must move Lyra to a safer location," Ryan nodded. "We take the shuttle, get her to Talos V colony. They owe us favors." "There," Maya looked at him. "It is risky. Talos V is a mining world. But the colonists are independent. They might hide her." Reed agreed. "It is our best shot. Prepare the shuttle bay." "We launch in 30 minutes, Ryan sprinted to the lab. Inside, Lyra sat in the observation chamber. Her skin glowed pale blue. In the strobing red lights, she looked calm. When she saw Ryan, she reached for him through the reinforced glass. Ryan placed a hand on the glass. "We have to go now," he said. "They are coming for you." Lyra's violet eyes shone with worry. She mouthed words Ryan could not hear. He tapped the glass and sent feeling, "Trust me." She nodded. Maya arrived with a portable translator. "Lyra, we need to move you to the shuttle." "We will protect you," Maya said through the speaker. Lyra stood. Ryan opened the chamber door. Lyra stepped into his arms. Her touch was cool. He held her gently and led her out. In the corridor, Reed's security team formed a line. They raised pulse rifles at the lab entrance. Ryan and Maya reached them. Ryan spoke calmly. "We go as a group. No one fires unless fired upon. We must keep the shuttle bay clear." Reed gave a curt nod. The team fell into formation around Lyra. Ryan guided her through the station. Alarms echoed behind them. The skyport doors loomed ahead. Outside, a small shuttle waited. Its engines glowed blue. Pilot Sarah Young ran up the ramp. Her face was smooth and determined. "We have 10 minutes before the first frigate arrives," Sarah said. She climbed into the cockpit. Ryan carried Lyra up the ramp. Maya and Reed followed with data crates. The shuttle doors closed and sealed. Inside, Lyra sat on a padded bench. She touched the window and watched the station fade. "We're heading to Talos V," Ryan said. "It's 4 hours away by hyperjump. Stay close to me," Lyra nodded. She sat beside Ryan. He placed a hand on her shoulder. She smiled and leaned into him, sensing his calm. Sarah flipped switches. The engines hummed. The shuttle rose from the platform and slipped into space. Outside, the silhouettes of armed ships emerged. From the gas giant's shadow. In hyperspace, Ryan and Maya worked side by side. Maya reviewed the data on Lyra's physiology. She pointed to etched lines on Lyra's arms. "These markings match star chart patterns. She might carry her homeworld's map." Lyra watched Maya study her. Ryan asked softly, "Can you tell us more?" Lyra paused. Her gaze drifted to the window. A swirl of stars framed her face. She whispered, "My people travel by feeling bonds. I search for one who tastes desire, then we share future." She turned to Ryan. "I feel you. I trust you." Ryan felt warmth in his chest. He offered his hand. Lyra took it. He held her skin gently. A ripple of pink ran across her arms. He wondered what it meant. Maya cleared her throat. "We should prepare for arrival. Talos V has rough terrain. We need ground transport." Reed tapped his cum. Colonel Grant is waiting. He will secure a safe house. As the shuttle dropped out of hyperspace, Talos V appeared below. The planet's surface was a patchwork of red deserts and metal mines. Dust. Storms swirled at the poles. The shuttle glided toward a hidden landing pad. Upon touchdown, Ryan lifted Lyra from her seat. Metal doors hissed open. Colonel Grant and a squad of locals stood ready. The colonists were tough and weathered. They glanced at Lyra with interest. Grant stepped forward. "Lieutenant Mills, welcome. We've cleared the route. Follow us." They led the group to armored transports. Lyra paused at the edge of the pad. She looked at the horizon where two suns dipped behind jagged mountains. Ryan joined her. "We are safe here." "They will not find you easily," he smiled. Lyra looked at him. Her skin glowed pale lavender. She placed a hand on Ryan's face. He closed his eyes at her gentle touch. She whispered, "I taste relief. Thank you." With that, they boarded the transport. Maya settled beside Lyra and began scanning the environment. Reed and Grant discussed security measures. Ryan stayed close to Lyra, his heart pounding with purpose. As the convoy rumbled into the desert, Lyra spoke softly. "Your world tastes of spice and dust. It is strong." She dipped her finger in the air and licked it. Ryan held back a smile. Maya laughed quietly. "We will collect samples later." The transport crossed a rocky plain. The sun scorched the land. Lyra leaned against the window and watched the scenery. Ryan slipped an arm around her. She looked at him. "Your touch tastes like home," Ryan swallowed. He felt a rush of protectiveness. He wondered how he could keep her safe from those who sought her gift. Behind them, Reed announced over the comm. "We have reports of an enemy scout ship. They may be nearby. Be ready." Ryan tightened his grip on Lyra's hand. She nodded and touched his palm. A wave of calm passed between them. The scout ship's roar filled the air as it swooped low. Colonel Grant raised his rifle. Maya moved in front of Lyra. Ryan stood protectively, but Lyra stepped forward. She raised her arms. The scout ship hovered silently. The pilot reported confusion. Instruments scrambled. Lyra tasted fear and desire in the air. She smiled gently. The scout ship withdrew and climbed into the sky. Grant whistled in surprise. "What did you do?" Lyra shrugged. She looked at Ryan. "I sense their fear. I share calm." Ryan exhaled. He turned to Maya. "Her power can save lives, but they will come again stronger. We must prepare." Lyra squeezed his hand. Ryan nodded. Together they watched the scout vanish at the horizon. The desert wind swirled around them, carrying promise and peril in equal measure, and so their journey deepened, bound by trust, desire, and the storm ahead. On the red plains of Talos V, Ryan and Lyra moved with the mining convoy. The colonists guided them toward a hidden cave near the canyon edge. Dust swirled in the air, making the sun appear as a dull orange disk. Lyra pressed her palm against the cave wall. The rough rock felt alive under her touch. Ryan followed her and checked the scanners. No enemy signal was nearby. He glanced at Lyra, who studied the carvings on the stone. Ancient symbols traced across the wall, glowing faintly in twilight. Maya stepped forward with a portable light and gasped. "These symbols match the markings on her arms," Maya said softly. She pointed to a map etched in stone. Lyra knelt and traced the lines with her finger. The symbols glowed brighter where she touched. The cave walls seemed to breathe. Ryan held his breath as he watched her. "This is a star chart," Lyra whispered. "It shows the path home." She looked up. "I carry hope for my people here." Ryan offered his hand. Lyra took it. He felt a pulse of warmth. He squeezed gently. "We should record this," Maya said. She lifted her datapad. The device hummed and captured the glowing symbols. Ryan saw determination in Maya's eyes. "When we share this data, humans will respect her world." Lyra smiled and leaned against Ryan. She closed her eyes and tasted the cave air. Ryan felt her calm wash over him. Outside, Colonel Grant led a security patrol. They circled the cave entrance. Ryan stood guard while Maya recorded. The canyon wind howled, stirring red sand. "We need supplies," Ryan said. We cannot stay here long. The enemy fleet may track us. He turned to Grant. Can your team bring rations? Grant nodded. We have a hidden cache nearby. Jackson will guide us. He pointed to a tall miner with sun-leathered skin. Jackson led the way across the desert. The group moved in single file. Lyra stayed close to Ryan. She whispered, "Thank you for protecting me." Ryan smiled. "I will always protect you," he said. They reached a rocky outcrop. Beneath a pile of cracked stones lay wooden crates. Jackson pried them open. Inside, dried fruit and water bladders waited. Grant handed Lyra a piece of fruit. She examined it and took a bite. Her eyes lit up as she savored its sweetness. "Your world tastes like life?" Lyra said. Ryan grinned. "This fruit is from earth vines. It grows in gardens back home." Lyra closed her eyes and savored the flavor. She licked her lips. Ryan felt pride in sharing simple joys. Suddenly, my Yazcom buzzed. I detect a shuttle signature approaching, small craft, unmarked. They may be friends or foe. She looked worried. Grant raised his rifle. We must be ready. Ryan stepped forward. Lyra fears danger. I will speak first. He looked toward the horizon. A sleek shuttle descended from the sky, its engines silent. When it landed, 3 figures stepped out, 2 in civilian gear, 1 in a military jumpsuit. Their pilot removed his helmet. Ryan recognized her face. "Captain Reese?" Ryan asked. Captain Reese nodded. "We come with aid. Commander Reed sent us. We have medical supplies and extra transport. But we also bring a warning, a corporate battleship. Hunts for your location. It will arrive within hours." Ryan's jaw tightened. He looked at Lyra. She held his hand and trembled. Captain Reese placed a hand on Ryan's shoulder. "We must move to the hidden base in the valley. You can use the tunnels there. It is the only safe place." Maya asked, "How wide are the tunnels? Will Lyra fit?" Reese replied, "They are large enough. They were dug to move heavy ore." Grant led the group back toward the camp. Lyra walked beside Ryan, leaning on him. The sky darkened as twin moons rose. Shadows stretched across the dunes. When they reached the base entrance, the team sealed the door behind them. Inside, dim lights revealed a network of tunnels carved into the rock. The air was cool and dry. Echoes of dripping water filled the space. In the main chamber, a lantern hung from the ceiling. Reese unpacked supply crates. She handed medicine kits to Maya. "Use these on Lyra if she needs it," Reese said. Maya nodded and set up a small lab. Ryan guided Lyra to a smooth rock ledge. She sat and closed her eyes. Ryan knelt beside her. "I will keep you safe here," he whispered. Lyra placed her hand over his heart. She tasted his steadiness. Her cheeks glowed faint pink. "Thank you, Ryan," she said. "I feel hope." Outside, the roar of the battleship engines reached the base. The walls trembled. Grant and Reese prepared rifles. Ryan stood, holding Lyra's hand. "They come fast," Ryan said. Reese launched the drone shields. Waves of energy formed a barrier at the tunnel mouth. The team took positions. Lyra stood before Ryan. She held both his hands. "Taste my power," she said. Ryan felt a spark. Lyra focused her energy on him. He shivered as desire and courage filled his mind. He felt strong. Grant fired the first shot as the battleship's assault drones flooded in. Explosions rocked the chamber. Reese shouted orders. Maya moved behind shields. Ryan charged forward, guided by Lyra's energy. He tackled a drone and smashed it against the wall. Sparks flew. He stood and fired his pulse rifle. Another drone dropped. Lyra ran beside him. She reached out to each attacking drone, tasting fear in the air. The machines slowed, their circuits confused. Grant and Reese finished them off. When the last drone fell, the shields held. Ryan looked at Lyra. She stood panting, her skin pale blue again. "You saved us," Grant said. Lyra smiled at Ryan and pressed her finger to his lips. He gasped as she tasted his courage. In the tunnel's glow, they stood together, ready for the next battle. The tunnel walls whispered of secrets and safety. Ryan knew their path would be dangerous, but with Lyra by his side, he felt unstoppable. And so, in the Hidden depths of Talos V, they prepared for the fight ahead, bound by desire, trust, and the strength they shared. At dawn, the hidden cave trembled with distant explosions. The corporate battleship hovered above the valley. Drones swarmed the horizon like angry insects. Lieutenant Ryan Mills stood at the tunnel mouth, pulse rifle ready. Lyra knelt beside him, her pale cyan skin flushed with concern. Dr. Maya Ellis checked the sensor readings. They are drilling into the rock outside. They will break through soon. She spoke quietly, fear in her voice. Colonel Grant and Captain Reese took positions along the tunnel walls. Their rifles hummed softly as they aimed at potential entry points. Ryan looked at Lyra. We need a plan. If they break in, we must distract them. He thought of Lyra's power. Lyra touched Ryan's arm. He felt a wave of calm and desire. She whispered, I can taste their fear and desire for victory. I can share hope and confusion. She closed her eyes and focused. Ryan nodded. Do it when they break through. We will act then. He turned to Reed. Alert everyone. Be ready on my mark. Commander Reed acknowledged and moved deeper into the tunnel. Outside, the corporate crew fired charges at the cave wall. Rocks fell away, creating a breach. Dust and noise filled the air. Grant shouted, They are coming. In the dim light, silhouettes of drones and mercenaries poured in. Their armor glinted in the lantern glow. Each held advanced rifles. Ryan raised his voice. Stand firm. Hold them at the entrance. Grant and Reese opened fire, their shots echoing off stone. The mercenaries dove for cover. Lyra stepped forward into the tunnel mouth. She raised her arms and inhaled deeply. Ryan felt her energy shift, a pulsing wave of emotion. Through the Maya called out, She is starting now! Lyra exhaled. A ripple of calm spread through the tunnel. The mercenaries hesitated, their eyes widened. Confusion took hold. One soldier dropped his rifle and swayed. Another touched his helmet as if to clear his mind. Grant and Reese exploited the moment, firing precision shots to disable enemy weapons. Ryan charged forward, using the chaos to reach the breach. He tackled a mercenary and disarmed him. He shoved the man into the rock wall, then turned to help Reed. Inside the cave, echoes of skirmish rang. Maya tended to Lyra, supporting her as emotion control drained her energy. You did well, Ryan said, grabbing Lyra's hand when he re-entered the chamber. Lyra single quotes S face glowed pale lavender. Sweat beaded her brow. She leaned against Ryan. I gave them hope, then doubt. They could not fight. She closed her eyes. Reese checked the breach. The mercenaries lay unmoving, stunned, or unconscious. The tunnel door remained intact. They will regroup, Reese said, but we have time. Maya placed a hand on Lyra's shoulder. You need rest. Stay here. She helped Lyra to the bench. Lyra nodded and lay down. Her breathing slowed as she recovered. Ryan knelt beside her. You saved us. I am proud of you. He brushed a strand of violet hair from her face. Lyra smiled weakly. I would taste your pride next. She laughed softly. Outside, the battleship prepared. Heavy artillery. The ground shook. Grant and Reese readied defenses. Ryan stood and addressed them. We must stop the battleship from firing. If they fire, this valley will collapse and trap us all. He turned to Reese. Can we sabotage their weapons? Captain Reese nodded. My team can sneak to the lower deck. We have explosive charges. Ryan glanced at Lyra. He wanted her safe. Take Jackson and 2 others. Create a diversion first, then plant the charges. He touched her hand. I will keep you safe here. Lyra squeezed his fingers. Go with hope. She closed her eyes. Reese and her team slipped out through a side tunnel. The rest prepared for the coming battle. Dust and echoes filled the empty space. Ryan leaned against the wall and whispered to Lyra, I will return soon. Lyra opened her eyes. I taste your courage. She reached out and touched his chest. Ryan felt a surge of purpose. He left the chamber and met Reese's squad at the junction. They spoke in hushed tones. You distract their patrols, Ryan said. I will lead the team to the battleship generator room. He pointed on the map. The team nodded and moved into the tunnel. Ryan felt the weight of his mission. Meanwhile, Lyra rested in the cave. Maya monitored her vitals. The glow in Lyra's veins faded as she calmed. She dreamed of distant stars. In her mind, she saw pale planets and shining cities. She reached for Ryan's memory. She tasted his earlier vows, his promise to protect. She held it close. After tense minutes, Reese returned through the breach, her face grim. Ryan sprinted to meet her. "Team is hit," Reese gasped. "2 soldiers down, but the charges are set. We have 3 minutes until detonation." She paused. "We need to leave now." Ryan motioned to Reed. "Evacuate to the safe chamber. Bring Lyra." He ran deeper into the cave. Lyra stirred as the group rushed in. Ryan lifted her gently. "We move now." He carried her through winding tunnels. Behind them, a distant rumble grew. The generator room exploded. A tone of metal bending and fire rushed through the rock, but the cave shuddered violently. Torches flickered. Dust rained down. Reed shouted, "This way!" They reached a reinforced door. With effort, they closed and locked it. The chamber beyond was stable. Outside the door, the sound of destruction echoed. The battleship's weapons were offline. Ryan laid Lyra on a padded bench. She opened her eyes. "I taste triumph, but I am weak." She smiled. Maya knelt and offered water. Lyra drank slowly. Ryan sat beside her. He placed an arm around her shoulders. "You saved us in our home. I vow to keep you safe now and always." Lyra tasted his words. Her skin glowed bright pink. She leaned against him. In the quiet chamber, they held each other. Outside, the war raged, but they found hope together. As darkness fell on Talos V, their bond burned brighter than any star. The dawn sky on Talos V was pale yellow. Lieutenant Ryan Mills and his team prepared for the final stand. The corporate battleship still hovered above, engines humming. Its heavy weapons lay silent for now, disabled by the sabotage. But the ship would repair soon. They needed to act quickly. In the hidden chamber, Lyra sat on a low rock. Dr. Maya Ellis cleaned her sensors and checked her vitals. Lyra's skin glowed soft cyan, her energy recovering. She looked up as Ryan entered. "We have little time," Ryan said. "We must reach the supply depot and signal the colonists. They can join us against the battleship crew when we lure them here." Lyra nodded. Ryan offered his hand and she took it. He felt her pulse of determination. Outside, Colonel Grant and Captain Reese gathered the remaining fighters. They numbered only 20, but each was armed with heavy assault rifles and makeshift explosives. The enemy had sent 200 Marines and automated units to recapture Lyra. Grant spread a course map on a rock. "They will come through the eastern ridge. That path is narrow. We set traps there. When they advance, we lure them into the kill zone. Then Lyra uses her power to disorient the rest." Reese added, "I can lead a small squad to flank them. We hit their command unit first, to slow coordination." Ryan studied the plan. "Good. I'll stay with Lyra and trigger the emotional wave when they enter. Maya, you watch her closely." Maya nodded. She organized medical packs. "I'll be ready." As the team moved out, Lyra paused at the tunnel mouth. The sun warmed her face. She tasted the dusty air. She turned to Ryan. "I taste fear, but also hope in you. Together we can win." Ryan smiled and kissed her palm. "We will." The ridge road wound through red rock spires. Ryan and Lyra walked side by side. Behind them, Grant's traps lay hidden, electrified nets, explosive barrels, and motion sensors. Reese's squad took the high ground. Suddenly, far across the valley, dust plumes rose. Marines marched in formation, their armor dark and shining. Drones floated above them, rushing aching. Reese's voice crackled in the cum. "Enemy in sight. 10 minutes until ridge. Be ready." Ryan and Lyra quickened pace. Lyra's heart beat in her chest. She touched Ryan's arm. He led her behind a boulder. When the first Marine squad reached the ridge entrance, Grant triggered the nets. Screams and sparks filled the air as soldiers were caught and shocked. Explosive barrels blew in a line, scattering the enemy. Drones swooped down. Lyra stood and raised her arms. She closed her eyes and inhaled deeply. Ryan felt a shift in the air, Lyra's power built like a wave. He gripped her hand to steady her. Lyra exhaled in a long breath. The emotional wave pulsed outward. Marines staggered, disoriented by fear and desire. Some dropped their weapons, others froze. Grant and the fighters emerged from hiding. They fired at the stunned Marines. Reese's squad swung around the ridge, catching the enemy in a pincer. Ryan led Lyra deeper into the kill zone. She sensed his courage and sent it through the ranks of enemy troops. Each pulse of her power weakened wills and muddled minds. Through the smoke and dust, the battleship crew fell back. Their formation collapsed. Fighters cheered. The ridge road was theirs, but just as victory seemed near, the corporate battleship began repairs. Distant booms echoed as its weapons came online. Ryan watched the sky. "We need the colonists now. Signal them." Maya projected a holodisplay from her pad. She activated the CUM beacon. A shrill tone rang. Across the valley, lights flickered. In hidden camps. Soon, 100 colonist vehicles rumbled toward the ridge. Armed with mining lasers and salvage equipment, the colonist convoy charged through the valley. They opened fire on the battleship drones, drawing them away. Ryan saw Lyra's eyes shine at the sight of more allies. With the colonists engaged, Ryan gathered his team. "Now we push to the hillside. We take the ship ground controls." A small group raced toward the base of the hills, moving fast across rocky ground. Lyra walked beside Ryan, her skin glowing bright pink with excitement. By the hill crest, a maintenance elevator allowed ground access to the battleship's lower deck. Ryan and Reese led the assault. They kicked the hatch open and stormed inside. Inside the ship's corridors, alarms blared. Soldiers turned to face them. But the emotional wave rippled through the walls, carried on Lyra's focused power. The soldiers hesitated as they advanced. Reese fired at the control room door. The panel sparked and gave way. Inside, a crew of officers looked up. "Hold them!" the lead officer shouted. Ryan and Reese barreled in, clearing the room in moments. Lyra entered last, her presence soothing. She tasted the officers' fear and hope. She sent confusion to their minds. They dropped their sidearms. Ryan and Reese bound them quickly. Ryan accessed the console and shut down the ship's weapon systems. The heavy guns on the hull retracted. Outside, the colonists saw the battleship's weapons lower. They cheered. Back in the command room, Ryan spoke into the open channel. "This is Lieutenant Mills. The battleship is under control. Hostile forces are detained." Stand down. A tense pause, then static. Finally, a voice responded, "We accept." Returning fire to non-lethal. The monotone voice of the corporate admiral. Ryan exhaled. He turned to Lyra. She smiled and leaned into him. He kissed her forehead. In the quiet control room, Dr. Maya arrived and wrapped a coat around Lyra's shoulders. "You did it." Lyra looked at Ryan. "We did it, together." With the battleship secure, Ryan helped Lyra to a viewport. They looked down at Talos V, where colonists and frontier fighters celebrated. Ryan whispered, "You taste like hope and victory?" Lyra laughed softly. Later, Governor Harris arrived by shuttle. She offered Lyra and her protectors asylum. A new agreement formed. Peaceful research and defense collaboration. In the glow of the landing pad, Ryan and Lyra stood hand in hand. The twin suns dipped low. Their world felt wide and full of promise. Lyra closed her eyes and tasted the evening air. "We have a future," Ryan nodded, "and I will be by your side." He kissed her lightly. As the shuttle prepared to depart, Lyra looked at Ryan one last time. "One day I will return you to my world." Her voice was hopeful. Ryan smiled. "I will be ready." He touched her cheek. They watched the stars appear. Two souls bound by desire, destiny, and hope. Their journey had begun anew.